Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Justin,
And Max Games.
and it's getting towards summertime, or at least springtime, so we're getting our baseball gear on. I'm a C3PO guy,
Three quick ones.
so not really baseball, but whatever.
They're baseball caps.
But baseball caps. And we're going to be doing a review of the game.
Mercado.
And Mercado is a game by Rudiger Dorn, who we've have other games, and we've always liked his designs. And it's published by Cosmos, and I want to get out of the way that usually when we get an insert, what do we do with them? This one's Cosmos always has really nice inserts.
And it makes the board fit perfectly.
Everything fits in really nicely. And in fact, they give you some extra tokens in the game in case you lose some of them. And so I just slid them underneath the pieces, so we'll never lose them either. Very cool. So that's out of the way. We always like to talk about some other games when introducing a new game. Not that this is new, but if you like other games, you might like this one too. Mercado is billed as an auction game / bidding game, and our third player doesn't really see that. She sees it more like matching colors.
Which is, again, kind of what Unearth is.
Yeah, Unearth is a game where there's cards that come out, and then you roll die, and then
try to get what you on die on specific card.
Exactly.
And whoever gets it first gets the card.
Right, and then there's
That's
and there also whoever comes in second
Gets something.
gets something out of it.
So,
Yeah,
that's pretty similar.
yeah. If you like Unearth, this game might be for you. Unearth is a little bit longer. I would say Unearth is more in the 50-minute range. This game is probably even in a 3 or 4 player, it's probably about half an
And
hour.
then this is one of your all-time favorites.
I don't know if it's an all-time favorite anymore,
It
but
has
I still like it very
It's top
much.
10, right?
No, it's not. It's definitely not top 10. It's probably in the top 50, maybe.
That's gone way down.
Anyway, Isle of Skye. I love Alexander Pfister games. Isle of Skye, though, this is almost like a reverse bidding.
You put price on your own cards, what you think other people will pay.
Right, exactly.
The
And
same sort of idea.
Yeah, it's the same. You could overprice things. So in Mercado, the costs are already on the cards. You can't dispute that. You can't change what they are. So Isle of Skye, there's a little bit of that. Isle of Skye, though, the big difference between a game like Isle of Skye, or even to a certain extent Unearth and this one, is this game is purely tactical. You know, what you get is what you get, and the whole game is an auction.
You could try to plan out. It's like, if I get this, I'll do that. But if I get that, I might do that.
And you don't know what you're going to get every turn with the bag.
Plus, you can sort of guess what you have left, so you have a higher chance of getting.
Right, and in a game like Isle of Skye, you know how much money you have always, and then you'll be able to say what you're going to afford. The other thing is that in all these games, Jorvik is a great example of this. Stefan Feld game. This is a true auction game. You get very little every round. You might get 1 or 2 cards. But the auction is just part of a larger game where you're trying to get certain things and get them to cooperate.
But this is purely auction.
This is pure auction. There is no other thing that comes out of it. There's a scoring table, and
It's very interesting because different spots you land on when you're scoring could give you extra points.
right.
Could give other people a benefit. Could hinder other people.
Mm-hmm.
Could give yourself a benefit. Or could hinder yourself even.
Yeah, you could even hinder
So
yourself.
you might want to time out when you get a certain amount of points.
Right, and there's 2 sides of the board, and you could put there's a
'Cause it
beginning and end game marker, so you can put it anywhere you want.
will cover up something that will never be gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird, like there's no zero. You make your zero.
Yeah, you say where 0 points start, and so yeah, if a game like Jorvik is your style, Jorvik though is way longer. Jorvik is going to be an hour and a half game with 4
And we played
players.
two of these in an hour.
45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes. It goes super, super fast.
And
So
for me, just one little thing is like I wish there was more.
I do too. So the lightness of the game, like we did this in the morning, like right after breakfast, more or less, and then like as your brain is waking up, maybe you can't do too much. That would be a time for a game like this. You want to do something with the family. It's Sunday morning. We're just hanging out, and we're gonna play a game. There's only so many things you could do on a turn. There's always the permanent guys that are in the game. These never leave, and you'll get either a wild token that you have to immediately place somewhere, or you'll get one of these very valuable scrolls, and I'll show some pictures of the scrolls. You could always play a scroll at the beginning of a turn.
To get some benefit, and you'll automatically get the points on the scrolls if you're unable to use them at the end.
Right, you don't get robbed of that. Then there's also the little what are these called? I can't even remember what they're called. Seals. You get the seals so that you can get 2 extra tokens on a turn if you come in second place on a one. Some of the cards, like these ones, never give you a second place. Some of the other, like perfumes, don't allow you to have a second place. The perfume cards are something else you could bid on. Usually they don't give you many points, but they give you some other benefit. Or they could even, there's a little bit of take that in this game. You know, you could steal.
Like someone's like trying to get it, then you do one turn, it's like, mine.
Yeah, exactly. So the perfumes can really kind of amp the game in different directions. And then there's the prize items that you, because we're all supposed to be these kind of wealthy aristocratic people that are coming with our very cool purses, and for whatever reason we don't know what how much money we're going to bring to each auction, and they're looking for the person that's doing the auction, who's an anonymous person is putting these things up. They only want certain types of coins for these things, and so it's a fun romp. Yeah. So what? You're showing the wild.
Because there's 2 different types. Because maybe if I can pull some out. Each player is going to start and end with 5 of each different color.
So we got the brown ones, the gold ones, the silver ones, and the blue ones.
You have 5 of each of
Five
those.
of each of those.
And those are just your basic resources.
Though that's what you're going to be using to pay for the various items.
We also start out with some black, which is counterfeit, which do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and that you can really get messed up on a turn if you just draw those and you don't have a seal to get something else.
But you do end up keeping those. And these are wild.
The wild are
They
wild.
count as any of the color ones, but once you use them, they go away.
Yeah, you can't keep the wild ones. One, I'll have to start by saying I think the art is superb.
Oh yeah, the art is amazing.
There's so many different of these very nice little jewels and clocks and trinkets, and the perfume bottles are wonderfully made artistically. It's very clear that on the card that you put your bid on your side, so if you have 4 people around, it's very clear who's doing what. There's no ambiguity. I got one of the rules wrong for the first million times we were playing it with the seal that has the X on it. I thought that
Everyone else has to lose one.
It has to lose
it's
one.
Just they don't
get
second.
one.
There's no potion for second place on most of the potions.
Right.
Not all of them though.
And the player markers are easy to tell.
Or
It's
these,
a
are
nice.
these like you spray yourself and see what happens?
Yeah, you say everyone else has been so charmed by your odor, they give you a seal or something, or they give you one of they give up a privilege, which are these scroll tokens. Sometimes though you can get something for not so inexpensive or not too expensive, but then you take a little hit yourself.
Of a counterfeit. Or
That you'll take a counterfeit token. I don't know. It's extremely there's a huge amount of randomness in the game. First of all, the scrolls or the privileges. Sometimes they're straight up points. Sometimes it's 1 point you get rid of something. You never know what you're going to get or when you're going to get it. What happens to be out on the board and what happens to be out in your bag at the time. You can mitigate it a little bit, but there's a tremendous amount of luck in the game. I give the game, it's sort of 50% tactical, 50% sheer luck. Because usually when you draw, it's almost like that when you draw something out of the bag, you could do anyone's turn. Like, if you drew that, I knew where you're going to put it. It's not that much of a, where's he going to put those things? It's more or less obvious what you're going to do. It's rare that you're kind of surprised. One thing that, though, I do have to say...
It might not always be surprising. There are just 2 different options, and you don't know which one he's going to go for.
Right.
But you still know it's going to be one of those 2.
Yeah, there's never a huge surprise on what the person is going to do in the game. And therefore, there is the idea...
So then what would be your rating?
Well, I'll just finish up by saying I do like the idea that the second place person, even if you're tied, they get a little something.
Which could be a point at the end or gets them to have a better bid.
I think a cool rule would be if you have multiples of these seals, you could use multiples on a turn and get like 7, really. Because again, a game to me is always about making interesting choices. And a game's value to me as a game player goes down when the choices are either limited or not so interesting. And in this game, although I like it, and you can't really You can't really like figure out. Oh, I'm going to get 4 points for this because I'm going to be there. There's only so many choices that you can really make in the game. Yeah, you could be like this. You could be like this. Anyway, where's my rating for the game? In a 50% luck game, I'm really around a 6.
I was actually around a 7.
You're around a 7, and I think that's reasonable
So
too.
6.5?
6.5, I think, is a good rating. I don't think that it would be a game that I would rave about or say, oh, everyone needs to get this game.
It's a good game.
It's a good game if you find it for not so expensive and you want to do something that's a nice filler.
Icebreaker sort of thing.
Icebreaker, or you're introducing someone to gaming and you don't want to have something that ramps up too much. The only downside is that, again, there's so much luck that's driven in the game. Sometimes people can get turned off by pulling, 3 black, or they're not getting exactly what they want, or getting a lot of take that in the game. But I still think, what was our rating? 6.5?
6.5 is the official Justin and Max rating of Mercado.
Mercado.
Oh!